Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men with power want? More power.
My name is Luca Zanna. I was an Italian by birth, and I became an American by choice. Our lives and freedoms are in danger. This is not a drill. If you're listening to this broadcasting, you are the resistance.
All systems go.
Welcome to Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Here we go, guys and girls. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on K-Talks 1340 AM. Also, of course, on lovegunsfreedom.com, where you can listen also to the all past shows. Probably last Sunday, if you were listening to the airwaves, 1340 AM and 104.1 FM, you say, I had already heard that show. Yes, it was a replay. I wasn't around. Everything was okay. I wasn't sick. I wasn't, desperate, thinking about, the meaning of life. Sometimes, I get kind of philosophical. No, everything was fine. I was very busy. I was in the middle of shooting a video and photos, more important, for some of the new rifles that, Scadi. I was closing the Scadi project with Charles Black, my director, and also with Hannah from Havasu. Now, back to business. Back to this business. This is the hour about freedom. Many times, as I said, I don't really have the desire to be on the air. People say, why are you even here? You're right. Why am I here? I tell you now why I'm here. I have a dream list, things I would like to do before I die, but never was really, I want to become a radio guy. Couldn't care less. I don't need a microphone. I'm fine already what I do in my life. But when I see what's going on around and the level of tyranny that every day we are facing as Americans and also as humanity, I believe really this is my little duty that I need to do, at least when I learn something, when I am aware of something, to try to share this information with whoever wants to listen. That's why I'm here. Sometimes it's overwhelming. Sometimes really this is not really retribution, because I tell you, all my guests that I had on my show, most of my guests, they got arrested or they're spending time in jail for no crimes at all, just as political as political prisoners. Some of them. I'm not kidding. Some of them they also got killed. Lavoie, Finicum, he got killed, cold blood. Yes, he was on my show. I have many other guests. They got arrested. They are waiting for trial. What do you think? I'm here as the host that also have my own personal opinions, and I stick my neck every time I can, in things that probably I shouldn't, according to, according to the federal government. If you like on Facebook one of the posts from the Bundys, you may be guilty by association. That's according to the prosecutor that right now is federally prosecuting the Bundys family. Just because you give a like to one of their posts, you may be part of a conspiracy. This is insanity. If I knew that 20 years ago, I would be laughing. Now it is reality. That's why I'm on the show. That's why I say I commit myself to be here, because everything I can do to bring some light in what we are facing as humanity, as also as Americans, this is serious. And when I say humanity, I'm an American first, be clear. I'm not a global citizen, okay? Be very sure about that. But I tell you, what's happening to us is not an accident. It's already been happening in Australia, in England, in Italy, in Germany. So we are all human beings right now from different nationalities. I believe in this sort of sovereignty. At the same time, we are facing a threat as humanity. We are all under danger of global tyranny. That's what it is. It's a global plan. It is not just an American problem. So now I want to bring on the show somebody that I really like. I tell you, she's a great lady. She's a young lady. She's also a political activist. When I say activist, means that she doesn't stay put. When she sees things that they are not right, she doesn't go with the plan. She opens her mouth. She expresses herself. And that for me what means to be activist. That means you are not a slave. You're not a sheep. And also she ran for a Libertarian Party for the Senate last elections. And by the way, now I can tell you that I voted for her. Yes. And I'm not even a libertarian. I have no parties, no party allegiance. And sometimes I make mistake myself, be clear. I try to always use my brain, and I invite you to use your brain, and sometimes I regret it. But guess what? At least I want to admit when I'm wrong. I want to say, yes, I knew we were pretty much wrong, but now I know for sure. Now, What are you talking, Luca? Are you crazy? No, I'm not crazy. I just drank 3 coffees. I'm fine. But let me bring her on so we can articulate what's going on right now as Americans. We are facing one of the probably worst moments that we ever face. People say, no, it's impossible. We are with Trump. Make America great. I wish it was like that. I really wish. Merissa Hamilton from Phoenix, Arizona. Are you there?
I am. How are you doing, Zanna?
Okay, I hope you didn't fall asleep with my intro because I'm kind of freaking out, honestly. I already read the articles, different articles about Attorney General Jeff Sessions being very happy, I would say trigger happy, to pretty much enforce these laws that already been on the book for many years. I mean, this is not like something coming with his administration, but really Jeff Sessions loves these civil asset forfeitures. Am I right with my English? Because my accent is always so bad. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did say it right.
Okay, please articulate, because many people say, they think, what is that? Something to eat? Civil what? Civil assets? Let's explain in few words exactly what means for the average slave out there, people like us, this type of new level of enforcement of an already unconstitutional law. In my opinion, I don't need to be a Supreme Justice to tell you this is unconstitutional, but of course many other judges agree with me. Tell me, what means that?
Sure. So civil asset forfeiture is basically set by the state. And what happens is that when someone has been suspected of a crime, they don't actually even have to be charged with a crime or even be in the process of being prosecuted. They just need to be suspected, and the police then can take their stuff. This typically happens in 3 different scenarios in Arizona. One scenario is when they pull you over for anything. They could pull you over because you have a headlight out or something like that. If they ask to search your vehicle, they can take anything that's inside your vehicle.
Wow.
If they, with the latest, what I call the Mesa version of stop and frisk, where they've been arresting people for jaywalking, they can search someone that's a pedestrian and take their stuff.
Wow.
And then also, if they do the same thing in your house, they can take your stuff. Now, Arizona did sign, the Arizona governor did sign a law earlier this year that increased the burden of proof before they could take your stuff. But it really didn't go far enough because it still creates a police profit model. And the reason why I say that is because the federal government has a deal that even when it's a federal government case, they will split the profits with the local police when the police seize your stuff.
Gee. Wow, this is...
And then the police can use it for whatever they want. And it actually ends up being, between 2008 and 2015, there was 55,000 seizures of over $3 billion of people's stuff. People that have not been convicted of a crime.
This is a big incentive, by the way. I mean, it's like how to fix budgets and, try to create more military police, because when they need to buy more guns or whatever, more tanks, whatever they need, this is a great opportunity to say, after all, we know where to get the money here now. And good luck to get them back, because, you need to get an attorney. This is exactly, again, as I said, you don't need to be a lawyer or a Supreme Court justice to understand that. All you have to do is read our Bill of Rights and the basic Constitution. I mean, are we all innocent until proven guilty? Yes or not? That's the bottom line. So they give you, and also more important, the burden of proof supposed to be in our system on the government, not on us try to prove that we are innocent, because otherwise we'll go back to the Napoleonic system. That's pretty much also the Italian system and the European system. Okay, so do you agree with me or not?
Well, I do, but I think that there's one important point that's missing here, and that's the fact that civil asset forfeiture steals your stuff that is unrelated to any crime you're even being suspected of.
Yeah, on top.
It steals all of your assets that have nothing to do with anything they're saying you're suspected of. And typically it starts off with like a minor traffic incident or a minor I crossed the street type of an incident. And then they can take whatever cash you have on hand, any type of valuables you have in your vehicle, including your handguns or things like that. They can just take them and keep them.
This is
even though it has nothing to do with what you were stopped for, suspected for, or anything.
Wow.
It is purely theft. They can seize whole bank accounts. They can seize your retirement funds. They can seize your house. They can seize anything they want.
How do we protect ourselves if there is any chance? Because I tell you, the point is that without money, without assets, you cannot even hire an attorney to defend yourself. When they take all your stuff, you are pretty much on the street.
Exactly.
What do we do?
Exactly. Well, the thing is that right now, the people of America and Arizona are fighting from a defensive position. Some people are trying to say that the bill, HB 2477, that the governor signed earlier this year, was sufficient, but it's not. The federal government, their policies always trounce state policies. And if the federal government's giving more financial incentives, that law is going to do nothing to protect us.
Yeah.
At this point, I think people need to take their blinders off and stop just listening to the political rhetoric during a campaign and really look at what people say they stand for, and look at what their past actions have been. Jeff Sessions has had a horrible record when it comes to civil rights. He's had a horrible record when it comes to criminalizing victimless acts. He promised that he was going to push on civil asset forfeiture. And also back in February, Trump promised in a conference, in a meeting with sheriffs. They went on video at one point in time, and he bragged about the fact that he was going to do this.
Wow.
Combined with the fact that he's going to go after people that smoke marijuana, which again is a complete victimless act. In fact, it's considered medicine in most states in America now. So this is a very dangerous man when it comes to liberty, human rights, and civil rights. And as far as what we can do, we need to, I don't know why people aren't marching in the streets, why there's not this huge march on Washington, D.C., from everybody. This is not just a Black Lives Matter type issue. This is something that greatly affects people of all races and all economic statuses.
Gee. No, it's really disturbing. You know why? Not just what they're doing on their side, also how people are reacting. For example, I post an article that you post originally. I posted on my Facebook. Okay? This was from the Washington Post. Sessions greenlights police to seize cash, property from people suspected of crimes but not charged. Then there is, of course, the video. Play the video. You can see him, okay? All the facts, everything. It's on mainstream, and of course, you can find it everywhere. Then is some idiot, just because he's a Trump supporter, or completely in denial. This is it's all about because the Washington Post is a bunch of liberals or whatever. Not even trying to verify the source. All they do, it's like, as I said, they idealize their guys. In this case, because Jeff Sessions must be good, because after all, Trump must be good. Okay, so doesn't matter what they do, they're always good. And if there is something wrong, probably must be just the media reporting a bunch of lies. Don't get me wrong, I know about fake news, okay? But there is a point that we need to look at facts here, and this is a fact. And I don't care.
Yes, this is a fact.
This is a fact. I don't care where you stand, if you're left, right, or middle. That's not the point. This is really a violation of every basic human rights that we live. If we live in a free society, if we live under completely tyranny, let's say under dictatorship, that would be a normal day in hell. But the point is, we're supposed to be a republic. We're supposed to have a Bill of Rights. We're supposed to be all innocence until proven guilty. We're supposed to have how many things in the Bill of Rights this is violated? This is insane. But my point is, Trump is part of this, and I'm the first one to say, you know what, on this one I'm guilty too, because as much as I understood and I knew that Trump was a big question mark and a lot of things in the past that they weren't making sense, I just couldn't go for sure to get Hillary, and I gave him the vote, and I regret it, and I'm honest about it. I knew I wasn't naive. I never said this guy's gonna be a freedom guy. At the same time, I follow my instinct then. But now I must tell you something. I say, wait a second, guys. We wanted to put some sort of, band-aid on cancer for a moment. Okay, now we got to work on the new cancer that we have. Because if this is not cancer, this is as bad as you can get from Obama. Seriously, this is nothing, not because he's not now waving the red flag in the street. This is probably the same type of tyranny, just with a different type of color shade.
The interesting thing I'm not a fan of Obama by any means at all. But the interesting thing here is that Obama is the one that had a study done to see what was happening, and then he killed the program.
I know. I mean,
and that was the reason why he killed the civil asset forfeiture program. It's one of the few good things that he did.
Yeah.
And during the campaign season, it was very clear that Trump was going to bring this back, but I don't quite think people understood what that meant. Like, most people looked at it as, like, when Trump talked about his stop and frisk policy, how he was super excited to bring that back. Most people just think that means that he's going to be going on a bunch of thug drug dealers and having police, take out criminals. But that's not the way stop and frisk works.
No.
As what we're seeing in Mesa, stop and frisk is just attacking regular pedestrians trying to go about their day, and it typically attacks people that are already in very oppressive situations, especially in Arizona, because you're not walking around on the street in Arizona unless you can't afford a car.
Yeah.
And when I went to court the other day, there was someone in court that had been in there. The three people that were in there was one person in court that had a criminal charge against her for littering at the airport. Apparently it's criminal, not like a misdemeanor, criminal to litter at the airport.
Wow. That means
not civil, but it's criminal to litter at the airport.
If I drop...
Then there was another person...
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, sorry. If I drop, let's say, an apple, if I drop a little paper or whatever, a little bit of garbage, like, I'm eating something and I drop a plastic. That's bad, by the way. I'm not condoning that. That's not just a fine. You tell me that now I'm going to face a trial for criminals?
Yes, that's exactly what occurred. And she's facing criminal charges for littering at the airport.
Oh, my God.
Another person that was in there, he was cited for not having a license. When he had already had to pay out thousands of dollars to rectify a previous legal situation. And so he got a job, which is good. That's what we want to happen, right? So he got a job, but in order to be able to get to work, he had to drive his car because there wasn't any type of public transportation to get him there. And so then he got cited for not having a license, even though it was just the paperwork was being processed to have it reinstated. And so these are the type of small things, like just bad situations, unfortunate situations that people are in, that things like civil asset forfeiture, stop and frisk, this pedestrian program that's happening in Arizona, that's who it's impacting. It's the people that are the most unfortunate already, and they're trying to build a better life, and it's the state just knocking them down again and again and again. And like when I was in jail when I got arrested for protesting, the three people that were in jail with me, besides the grandmother that was arrested along with me, was arrested for not having bus passes on them. All three of them had membership bus passes, like month-long bus passes, but they just forgot it, and they got arrested and put in jail.
Oh, my God.
These are our criminal system today is completely unjust. And it's not, and the civil asset forfeiture is kind of like one of those icing on the cake things that motivates the police to increase going after victimless crimes rather than going after things that actually keep your family safe. The more we have police pulling people over for like headlights and walking and crossing a road, that means that there's fewer police out there stopping murders, catching and stopping rapists, stopping pedophiles. And so these programs inherently make us less safe. Yeah. And they are just simply there to be a profit center for the police.
Well, let me ask you something. Sorry if I interrupt you. I know there's a pattern here because we need to connect the dots. People say, what the heck is going on? Is they all going crazy? No, I think there is a logic. First of all, there is like, let's say, cui bonus, cui benefit. I mean, there is always somebody at the end that benefits such behaviors, okay? And in my opinion, according to the research I did, it's called the private prison sector, okay? Because private prison means that they have business, and I'm all with business, real free enterprise, but they are fascism because technically they are a union between corporations and the state. That's what it is. So bottom line, though, they still need customers. Like every business must do profit. To get profit, you need to get customers. How you keep your 90% or more occupancy full? Guess what? You got to fill up with your prisons with more and more people that really they didn't do any crime. I mean, as you said, now for leader, just because you drop a little piece of trash at the airport in Phoenix, well, I believe you. I mean, I will do research, but my gosh, I wouldn't be surprised at all. It's true. I know that you're not lying. People now can be charged criminally. You just going jaywalking. Guess what? They will charge you for jaywalking. Nobody got hurt. Doesn't matter. I mean, you don't look at them right. Maybe you just have a little bit of, I don't know, sometimes you can be stressed out. You can be a little tired. You don't bow down fast enough when they talk to you. They're going to probably charge you for, I don't know, disorderly conduct and resisting arrest while they beat you up.
Yeah.
Seriously, that's why I saw videos. Yeah. They beat you up and you say, I'm sorry, please stop. Hey, resisting arrest. And they beat you up double. I'm not kidding. I'm not trying to be funny. This is real. So,
no, that's exactly what's happening.
So this is scary because, as I said, and by the way, I didn't verify, but I read different articles. Maybe you know more about that. Seems like Attorney General Jeff Sessions is deeply involved with the private prison system as some sort of personal interest. Is it true?
Yes, as far as I can tell, I haven't done a huge amount of research on this, but yes, as far as I can tell, he is. And this is the main, this is a big issue that we have in Arizona. I don't know if you're aware of this, but we have a 55% higher incarceration rate than the average. And a large percentage of that is people that are being in jail for victimless acts. Victimless acts are things simply just like smoking marijuana or being in possession of marijuana. These are things that we shouldn't, that it doesn't make sense to put people in jail for these things. And if you look at what Portugal did, they decriminalized the drug conviction and instead transitioned those people to be rehabilitated, because usually people that are on drugs have something that's hurting them that they need to get over so that they can then get off the drugs, because the drugs are just a symptom. They're just a coping mechanism. Instead, like what I experienced when I went to just the booking process of jail, it is entirely set up to dehumanize a person, to invalidate you and to make you feel like you are completely worthless. And I know that there's a large amount of people out there that think that's a great way to teach someone a lesson, but it's not, because these people are already, typically, most of the people in there already feel bad about themselves. They are their own worst enemy when it comes to having confidence or self-image or anything. And by putting them in there, you're reinforcing those very thoughts that causes them to then act out in ways that are adversary to having a civilized society. So you're making it worse, and it just creates this prison pipeline where people just go to prison over and over and over again, rather than creating productive citizens that are productive taxpayers that are adding value to our communities and helping to keep everyone safe. We are creating our own problems, essentially, with the process we have. And
also another thing, I mean, I go even to the basics before even we go there. And I agree with you, by the way. That's, I mean, if you have a drug problem, it's not even a criminal problem, because unless you steal, unless you do something that infringe on somebody else's right. If you just get this mesh with whatever drug you want, at that point you have a personal problem that I don't think jail is going to fix at all. It's going to make it worse. But before even we go there, let's go back to the Bill of Rights, to our foundation. And all these politicians that supposedly they take an oath to uphold the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, they should be look at themselves and really jump in the lake, because they're a bunch of traitors. Sixth Amendment. This is coming from a guy that was even born here. He has a poor English, poor grammar, but I can still read a little bit. The Sixth Amendment pretty much said that we're all innocent until proven guilty. That's the way it should be. That's the bottom line. I mean, instead now, with this system, even when you go booked in jail, let's say you get booked, you're still innocent. You didn't still face your trial or your day in court. They treat you like you're a criminal all the way. They put you probably among criminals. And I don't think that's right. Because I should never be put, in a situation that still I've been proven guilty. I shouldn't be treated like an animal. And I don't say even criminals should be treated like animals, but because still, for sure, I shouldn't be at the same level of humiliation and human condition that is not right. I'm still innocent. What if tomorrow they say, oh, by the way, sorry, you were innocent? Meanwhile, they put, fingers in your butt and do other things that I have no idea, because I never had that experience. Thank God. Hopefully, I'm never going to go to there. By the way, can you tell me something about it? What do they do to you when they book you? I'm just cool. You don't have to answer, of course. How does it work?
Sure. When they book you, so it's actually a pretty, there's several times in the process that they violate your Fourth Amendment rights. I can't answer for the men's side, but I can answer for the women's side of what I went through. And by the way, when I did this protest, I had already filed the committee paperwork that I was running for governor, but I specifically did not include that in the press release, nor did I tell anyone as I was going through the booking process, because I wanted to see what really is happening in the jail. So when I went through the booking process, they take you to 3 different locations, and each one is progressively worse. The first one, the officers followed the law. They were very appropriate and very kind in the way they behaved. And that was Officer Lentz, and I have to give him props for that. But after that, it got bad. In the third one, the 4th Avenue Jail, that's the worst. They force all of the women to give a urine sample, and they say they need to do that to determine if you're pregnant or not. Well, the woman that was with me is a grandmother, well past the age of being able to be pregnant. And I said, and I specifically refused and said, you don't have a right to know that about me, and I can assure you I'm not pregnant, and I will sign any paperwork holding you harmless of any type of damage that could happen if I was. And they said, no, if you don't, and they put you in a room that's covered in urine and covered in feces. And the windows are totally open on it, and they have the male prisoners walk by you, and the male prisoners can see all the women in there covered in the room with covered in urine and feces, and watch the women trying to get the urine sample.
Oh my God! I mean, that's also.
They also have a camera straight at you, looking at your strategically placed, looking at your private parts as you use the bathroom, and then they have the male officers come in right when you're about to give the sample, and they come in and they basically give you a look and mock you and then leave.
Oh my God! This is disgusting all the way. I mean, if I heard that, I say, okay, you were in Korea, North Korea, or China. Where did you go? This is freaking what? Maricopa County? Where you were in Phoenix? Where?
Yeah. Yep, the Sheriff 4th Avenue Jail.
Oh my God! This is
MCSO 4th Avenue Jail.
United States.
This is the booking process.
United States of America, Arizona, and as I said, first of all, you're still innocent. You shouldn't be treated like a criminal. Number one. And number two, you need to have some, at least hygiene. Talking about diseases spreading around, talking about basic human conditions. I mean, I wouldn't trick my dogs in a situation like that. Okay, give a little more dignity.
Yeah.
Seriously, at least don't let them be between, as you said, fishes and pee. And more important, you should have at least the women taking care of women. You can have guys start to staring at you. Anyway, this is really sad. I have no idea, honestly. But as I said, we are facing, this is not happened just today. This is been a long process that our system, our constitution is being completely, let's say, bypassed, at least ignored. And as I said, to all my friends that they call themselves conservatives, and I say, we got to find, after all, an happy medium. After all, we are not living in a utopistic society. I say, guys, I don't need to live in a utopistic society. Always say, let's live to what's supposed to be a republic. I don't ask for crazy things. We have a Bill of Rights. All these conservatives, Republicans, whatever, they think, we love the Constitution. We love the Constitution. Then guess what? How many Bill of Rights we violated? How many of our rights enunciated in our Constitution? Let's stick with the 6th Amendment. Just because. I mean, the point is, nobody should be charged, or at least nobody should be considered guilty until proven. I mean, we should be proven. I'm confused. But the point is, we're all innocent until proven guilty. I'm fuming. No,
yes, absolutely.
That's the bottom line.
The interesting thing, Zanna, is when you were talking about that this seems like it's like you don't want to read into conspiracy. And I don't like reading into conspiracies either. But at the same time that Jeff Sessions is launching this program to steal our stuff and launching a program to double down on going after people that use marijuana, the Senate has also just passed a bill that requires citizens to report their privately stashed cash and any other assets that are not in banks.
Gee, question. Did the president already sign this? Is already law of the land?
No, this is not law of the land. It simply passed the Senate, Senate Bill 1241. Wow. But when you take all of these things into consideration, how does the government have any right to require us to report all of our assets to them?
Yeah. mean, that's exactly what they want. The point is that they want a cashless society. That was part of a plan I learned a long time ago. And the idea, because they want to control everything we have, because at the end they can take everything they have. If people are so concerned about gun registration, I'm all for it. Especially the conservative Republicans, that they think, oh, no, gun confiscation, gun registration. I agree. The same story with your cash. It's your money. Government should have no rights to know what you have.
In some states, guns are considered assets.
Yeah, that's true. That's so part of your
asset. Civil asset forfeiture does seize guns.
Yeah.
So this would be a fantastic program to get a gun registry under the guise of trying to combat money laundering.
Wow.
As well as then whenever they go, they could then target people. The police have the technology now where they are reading licenses as you drive by. So they could just have the system target a specific group of licenses based on what assets you've reported, and then pull you over for anything they want, including just saying you looked like you were tired, or I just wanted to make sure you were okay, which they do, and then proceed to just use it as a way to steal your stuff.
Wow. This is
and I wish I could say that these are extreme ideas, that the government would never do that, but unfortunately, this is happening in Arizona today.
No, and this is happening right now all over the states. Arizona, of course, it probably would be one extreme case, but I tell you, it's happening everywhere. It's California, it's Oregon. I mean, they're getting crazy everywhere. It's part of a global plan. As I said before at the beginning, this is not just us Americans facing this reality, or Arizonans, or California. This is everywhere, all over the states and the world. It's part of a global tyranny. In Italy, for example, right now, just to give you an idea, you cannot take any more out of your bank account more of a certain amount of cash for a day. I think no more than $1,000 or something like that. Think about it. It's supposed to be your money. No, not really. They tell you how much. And why not $800 a day? What if you need more? They want a cashless society, so they can pretty much control everything we do, track everything we do. And, for me at this point, the most important thing, I was the first one to bash for 8 years Obama, and I have no regrets. And of course, I would do it again. I'll still do it. But I'm also the first right now to bash President Trump, if he doesn't do the right things, the right things. Okay? And I hope all the rest of Americans who voted for him stop completely idealizing their own virtual reality just because they dream of somebody, as I said before, dressed as Captain America, and just because they think somebody must be good. Because Obama was bad, now Trump must be great. Guys, we've been duped by both parties. That's the reality. Now, I'm not saying that Trump is as bad as Obama on some issues, but guess what? So far, it's pretty bad. Because if you tell me let happen, first of all, just with two topics, I'm not even going to other things. The fact that now we're all guilty until proven innocent, and they can take your stuff, as you're saying, without having been connected to any crime, and they reinforce this completely unconstitutional law right now, and they have a problem to completely prosecute anybody just because you may be associated to a little bit of a leaf of a plant. They can take your property. I mean, let's not forget, happens already in California, Malibu, a few years ago. A man had a beautiful 20 acres in the beautiful Malibu canyons, and they came with the DA, the National Guard, and they killed the man, by the way, just because there were some plants in the middle of his property. He was not even aware, by the way. Seeds can fly. Then you have marijuana plants. Let's say somebody plant a little seed of marijuana on your property. They have the excuse to come there, knock you down, raid you, and eventually kill you, like this man happened, and then they take your property. I mean, that's part of what is called civil asset forfeitures. Am I right or wrong?
Yes. So yes, absolutely. And the thing is that, and I'm glad you brought up that point, because they're not going after like the big drug dealers in this. They're going after people like you and me.
Yeah.
They put these laws in place so that they can start off with some very simple thing of a police just doing his job. And I would compare it. In my job, I work for a technology company and I do account management, and part of that is sales. It would be like my company saying, Merissa, we're going to give you this big, huge bonus every single time you screw our customers over.
Yeah.
Every time you steal from our customers, we're going to incentivize you for that.
Yeah.
That would be a company like that would go out of business immediately. Their employees would probably quit. But that's exactly what this program is with our police. It's incentivizing them to steal from us.
Yeah.
And so I want to be the first person to stand up and support our police, but I can't when their job that we've designed for them is to steal stuff from innocent people and to cage people for victimless acts. And that's what we've done. We've taken the police from being in charge of protecting us to being in charge of beating innocent citizens, taking their stuff, and putting them in cages for victimless acts. And that's completely backwards from what our Constitution states it's supposed to be.
Exactly. And this is, as I said, this is not a party issue, you know. This is about if we are free society or if we are living under tyranny. You know what is bad? Sometimes I almost say, you know what? It is an illusion, and people still thinking that we are free. I rather to say, you know what? Let's admit it. We are not free anymore. We are slaves. And the point is, masters can decide now, instead of being under really the rule of law, we are under the rule of fascism and the rule of enforcers. Because let's say today you get pulled by the police, okay? You're driving maybe 3 miles above the speed limit, whatever, any excuse. It says it's on the air discretion of the agent to destroy your life or to let you live. That's the definition of tyranny. When you have no more rule of law, but you are pretty much enforcement by a man. That's the bottom line. I mean, now at this point, we have a human being with a badge who will decide if he wants to ruin your life or will let you go. That's terrible. That should never happen to America. I mean, I understand it is happening in parts of Europe, or most of Europe anyway. In Italy, that's what they could do. And more important, like Korea, China, things like that. Happening here, and then you still think, you know, you go out and God bless America and land of the free, home of the brave. What type of drugs are you really drinking? I mean, what type of Kool-Aid? I mean, I'm not trying to put American down, but say, let's admit it. We lost that. We are living in complete fascism. Yes. The only reason now, because you didn't get touched yet, the reason why your door didn't get break down means that it's not happening. The only fact that maybe your child didn't get stolen by the state doesn't mean that it's not happening. But let me play this little short video. This is from a real news. I mean, real news. They're all news. Of course, they're all fake, but also these are facts. There is a person who sued the state and won. But let me play this, talking about now you can be arrested for a DUI even if you're sober. How do you like that? You still would like to, you know, bend over and kiss their butts just because they're wearing a badge or just because it's the government? Let me play this, and then we'll decide how it would work for you, listener, that maybe you disagree with me. I'm really curious.
Driving arrests are down sharply after decades of aggressive enforcement, while drugged driving arrests are actually climbing. Georgia now has more than 250 officers with special drug recognition expert training, but 11 Alive Chief Investigator Brendan Keefe discovered some drivers are getting arrested for driving stoned, even when their drug test came back clean.
You hadn't had anything to drink tonight?
Not tonight, no.
Not tonight? Okay. Well, one of the things that we do is we ask people to blow through this thing, okay?
Caitlin Ebner crossed the line and got pulled over on her way home from work.
Blow real hard. Blow until I ask you to stop. Keep going, keep going, keep going. You can stop.
No, she wasn't drinking. All tests for alcohol came up empty.
When's the last time you smoked marijuana?
Oh, I don't do that. I can give you a drug test right now.
You don't smoke marijuana?
I do not,
okay.
No.
All right. Well, you're showing me indicators that you have been smoking marijuana, okay?
I didn't realize that you could get arrested for something that you didn't do until it happened to me.
Watch your wrist for me. I don't want to pinch you.
You for marijuana?
No, ma'am, not possession unless I find it in your car. I believe that you're impaired by the marijuana that you've smoked.
Before you felt those handcuffs closing over your wrist, did you understand just how serious this was?
I didn't understand. As soon as I took that breathalyzer, I thought I was going home.
This time you're being taken into custody, okay, for DUI drugs.
The waitress spent the night in jail and had her alcohol server's permit revoked because of the DUI arrest. After 4 months, prosecutors dismissed all charges because her blood test came back completely clean. You had to spend months and thousands of dollars proving your innocence.
I did.
When's the last time you smoked weed?
I don't smoke weed.
You don't smoke weed?
No, not at all.
The same thing happened to this college student 2 weeks earlier on Good Friday.
Well, I believe you have, okay? I need to borrow your arm real quick, okay? I believe that's why you were failing to maintain your lane and driving halfway on the ramp when I was behind you.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on, sir.
Give me just 1 second. Give me just 1 second.
You're arresting me.
That's correct.
I didn't understand. I'm like, why are you arresting me? Like, what did I do? He said DUI of a substance. I'm like, what?
You're arrested because you think I smoke marijuana?
I believe that you're impaired by cannabis. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, search. I don't smoke weed. Is there a way you can test me right now?
Princess Umbamara was also jailed and fought the DUI drug charges for half of 2016.
So the blood test comes back, they toss the case.
I remember my lawyer trying to talk about a deal. I was like, what? I'm not taking a deal. I didn't do anything. I want, like, my life back. Can you reverse time?
Can you stick your tongue out real big?
Months later, it happened a third time to this Auburn student.
You're giving me indicators that you have consumed marijuana, so you're being placed on arrest for DUI, okay?
The prosecutor filed this dismissal of the student's DUI drug charge 5 months later. Defendant performed well on field sobriety evaluations, and blood and urine were negative. 3 DUI drug arrests, 3 tox screens negative for marijuana, 1 police officer. Cobb County's T.T. Carroll. Documents show Carroll is one of the highest rated and best trained officers on Cobb County's legendary DUI task force.
Well, you're showing me numerous indicators.
He's a certified drug recognition expert.
Well, I don't believe you're telling me the truth, okay? I don't believe, because I'm seeing some involuntary indicators that you've consumed marijuana.
One of 250 Georgia officers who've gone.
Okay, something happened. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I'm freaking out. I mean, seriously, I had to stop it because I was getting anxiety and, my heart rate went to 150 probably. I mean, this is insane. I mean, what do you think about this? I mean, this guy can make up everything he wants just because he has a badge. Say, you know what? Yeah, there is no marijuana in you. You have nothing in your blood. But guess what? Just because I say so, just because maybe I can tell you that you were going 3 miles further or faster or whatever, any excuse, I ruin your life. This is real. I mean, it wasn't. By the way, they're all names. They are public cases. What do you think about this?
You know, Zanna, this is exactly what I'm talking about. These laws are put in place, and people think, well, these are only going to go after horrible people. No, they are there to go after us. They are there to put the police in a situation where they are encouraged and even financially incentivized to what it comes down to is really destroying lives of productive people, of the working class. And we need to change this. We need to stop this. It's unbelievable how fast the government has put themselves in a position to have so much power over things that really can make or break someone's life.
Really,
you can't come back from stuff like this. You just can't. It's impossible to rebuild for most people. And we basically put them into a situation where we've institutionalized poverty. Once they go through this process, it's not okay. We need to stop it. It's immoral.
Well, let's talk about solutions because, as I said, the first way you fix a problem, you must admit you have a problem. And you don't live anymore in this sort of utopistic reality. And, because at the end of the day, you can ignore reality, but will not be able to ignore the consequences of reality. And that's happening. It's already here. Okay, so what can we do in Arizona? I'm talking about right now, of course, for people in Arizona because I live in Arizona. And I realized that we could do a lot if we had even just some of our legislators aware and not part of the machine. Because as I said, every time I see now one of our legislators being supported or lobbied by the private prison system, that gives me really some sort of a ring of alarm because I understand, unfortunately, if you get paid by these lobbies, their goal is to make more customers for the industry, in this case, the private prison. So I have a problem with that. What exactly you're running for and what people can do to help you out?
Sure. Well, I'm running for governor of Arizona for the Libertarian Party. And one of my primary issues that I've been talking about and focusing on is the issue of criminalizing victimless acts and also stealing our stuff. And we need to start supporting politicians that are going to actually take a stand for the Constitution, take a stand for liberty and human rights and civil rights, and end these disastrous programs. The only thing they have done is created a pipeline to prison, and allowed the government to take our stuff, and that's not okay.
No.
So for one thing, one of the campaigns that I'm doing, I'm not sure if people are aware of this, but when they take our stuff and they put us in jail or they give us traffic tickets or speeding tickets or whatever, 10% of that money goes towards the Clean Election Fund. So the Clean Election Fund, which is what most candidates for office at all levels of office run on, is basically incentivizing politicians to then keep having these laws go into place that criminalize victimless acts and steal your stuff. So one thing is to boycott clean money. And so what I've been asking people to do is to instead of donating the $5 to the Clean Money Fund when they register to vote, like what they're requested, instead donate $5 to my campaign and any other people that are running for office on these type of platforms.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because voices are heard during the election cycle. If you don't vote, no one hears your voice. Yeah. And so what the establishment looks at is which candidates are getting small dollar donations from the people, not from lobbyist groups, not from dark money, but from people. And that's important. And so if we have a situation where we have any candidates that are getting like $5 from 5,000 people, that will send the strongest message to the establishment that we have to stop what we're doing.
What is your website?
Another thing that people... Sorry, go ahead.
What is your website again, please? Your website.
My website is merissahamilton.com. It's spelled MERISSA. Okay. And another thing that people can do along with that is at the same time, I would encourage you to write your legislators, write the president and write the attorney general and let them know that these programs are not okay. They must end and they must back off from them. And then finally, carry a card with you. So I have a couple of attorneys that I keep on hand. And on the back of their cards, they have something that says notice to law enforcement officers. And it basically says that you're requesting the right to remain silent and you're refusing to be searched.
Yeah.
This is extremely important because the reason why the officers are able to do this is because they talk people into letting them be searched. In the video that you showed, if I recall correctly, the person immediately was like, "I'll take a drug test right now. I'm not guilty of anything. I'll take a drug test right now." Don't do that. When you do things like that, that's you giving up your rights. And if we give up our rights that easily, that gives permission for the state to then create all these crazy laws. Yeah. Start standing on your rights. For example, for the arrest for the protest, they charged me with obstructing a road, which I was not doing. If anything, the only thing that I was doing was not following the officer's order, which was to end the protest because they had already set up for us to have this protest and they just didn't like who was talking. I'm fighting that. I'm fighting that in court. And the reason why is because most of the time that they do these charges, it's because most people will plea out. When you plea out, that's basically then telling the court, the justice system, to keep doing this because they're never going to have to be held responsible for targeting innocent people.
This is really to a new level. I mean, I already knew some of this stuff, but now I see it more and more really close to us every day. And there is a point that if we don't do something now, and this is already bad, it's not like it's going to happen, it's happening. But think about, visualize this maybe in 10 years, 15 years from now, if we let this completely spread out like a cancer, what's going to happen to our new generation of Americans and sons and daughters? I mean, this is going to be like living in like a 1984 on steroids movie, a horror movie. That's why I say it's something we have to address right now. This is not like, and people, this is not about politics. When people say, I talk sometimes to some friends, I'm not into politics. This is not about politics. Politics is not like an abstract concept. This is about if you live as a free man or if you're a complete slave, always living in fear that something can happen to you, even if you've done nothing. I understand some of you say, I'm going to always say, yes, sir. That's fine. That's your choice. But the point doesn't matter. Even if you say, yes, sir, they will still take your stuff and they will still put a finger in your butt once you go to jail. That's for sure. Even if you've done nothing wrong. Okay? I mean, there is a guy.
Yes, absolutely. And then the money that they use to do all those things to you, they're going to use to elect a whole other crop of politicians. They're going to create more tyrannical laws and take more of your stuff.
Yeah.
So clean money is the dirtiest. We have got to stop that. We have to stand up against what the AG is trying to do and stand up against Trump regardless of whether you voted for him or not. And then when it comes down to you need to protect and defend your Fourth Amendment rights when you are stopped by the police. It It's not about being disrespectful. It's simply saying I put the Constitution above everything. I put the Constitution and my rights above all the stupid laws that are being written to take my stuff.
Yeah. All right, listen, I want to say thank you for being on the show. And more important, thank you for speaking up. Because as I said, this is we need as many people as possible to articulate, to explain from every party. I mean, I wish people in the Democratic Party would stand up and say this. I wish people in the Republican Party, they would do the same. And this is not a party issue, as I said. This is going to be really something bad, so bad that you have no idea till it happens. But we should have an idea because we should see right now. I have another thing. I have no time probably to play. Maybe I'll play later after I let you go. I mean, there is a Nevada cop, stopping a man driving that he was driving just 3 miles above the speed limits. And the guy, he had some cash with him and on video. I'm going to get your cash. This guy completely law-abiding person, never regular criminal. You have to. I will play the audio. After I let you go. Unless you want to stay with me the last few minutes, it's up to you. I need to play this because I need to try to reinforce this concept. What's happening right now, this is nothing like just some crazy cops out there. This is, unfortunately, it's the law. And they will abuse it and use it every time they need it. Let me play this. You want to stay with me 2 more minutes?
Yeah, I can stay with you for a couple more minutes.
Yeah, let me play this. This is scary.
My dog alerts from seizing the money. You're trying to get it back, but you're not getting it back. I took down to Vegas and let it. Good luck proving it. You'll burn it up in attorney fees before we get it back to you. Okay? Why are you feeling that? Because I do drug interdiction. I'm the drug guy. I asked you if you had any bulk U.S. currency. You told me no. You said you had not. Oh, no. Yes, you would have asked me the same question. Exactly right. But the deal is, you lied to me. All right? I didn't lie to you. Yes, you did lie to me. You lied to me. You did give me permission to search. Oh, you just told me I'm putting you on record to search your card. Everything's on video. Tell you how. Everything's on videotape. You allowed me to search. Yes, you certainly did. I put you on record. Exactly. No, I did not. When I told you everything, I'm going to search your phone real quick, and then we'll start what we're going to do with respect to you taking off the vehicle, because you're not allowed to have this car. You're not. You are not allowed to drive this car. You cannot be driving it. I'm convinced that's dope money. Now, you may get away with the cashier's checks and stuff, but you ain't getting the cash. That's going to be seized. Okay? You're up to no good. You are not a legal part of the traveling public. Do you understand?
We'll figure that out later.
Well, yeah, your cost, not mine.
Exactly.
I know. So you're
about to tell you, yes, I have. It's the same route, so that...
I'll tell you what. That's the same one I got. I'll tell you what. You want to keep these, and you want to walk away from the rest of this? Fine. No problem. I'll let you do that. And I'll let you drive the car. It's your call. Otherwise, what I'm going to do...
You put me between
No, I'm not. I'm good out of here. No, hold on. You can take your stuff, you can take the car, and you can leave. And you'll have to abandon that. You walk away.
I have to sign right now.
Yeah, no blame to it, and you can have the cashier's check. Turn off?
I mean, you pull me off the chapter.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah, no drugs.
You don't have to have drugs. You don't have to have drugs. There's no taxes paid on this money. You don't want the IRS crawling up you.
Oh, no, I can prove I was just in Vegas last month.
Maybe you sure can. But that's an awful lot of money to try to have the IRS crawl up your rear end and start getting into your life and auditing you. It's your call. If you want...
I mean, does it sound this like a police, like a peace officer, law enforcement, enforcing the laws, or just maybe some sort of robber on the high sea, try to also bring high arrests and intimidation? I mean, the bottom line, is cutting a deal here, like almost like a negotiation between gang members. I'll let you have the car, I'll let you have the cashier check, but I get $50,000. Is that scary?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, this is really happened. By the way, the man that would consent the search, then after I hired an attorney, and he won, he got his money back, and also the police department or the sheriff, in case department of this county, it's Nye County in let's see exactly the place in Nevada. Anyway, they had to pay legal fees, $10,000. So this is not like a conspiracy or some made up video. This is real case, it's on the news, it's a fact. And this is scary. As I said, can happen to any one of us. It's on video. Just put on YouTube, Las Vegas driver arrested, $50,000 civil asset forfeiture. That's it. That's exactly confirm all the things that we've been talking the last hour with Merissa Hamilton. Merissa, I'll let you close. You got 60 seconds, whatever you want to say.
Sure. Zanna, I'm so thankful for you presenting these videos and letting us talk about this, because this is a serious issue that we need to wake up to. It is time to just take our cognitive dissonance glasses off and recognize exactly what's going on, because otherwise liberty will be completely lost. We are well past the point of tyranny at this point. If people want to find out more about me, you can go to MerissaHamilton.com. That's MERISSA. You can also find me on Facebook. I've been doing videos almost daily about this topic because it's something I'm so passionate about. And again, please boycott clean money. Clean money is the dirtiest, and it is a way for the government to then bring in a whole new batch of politicians that are going to then be incentivized to take your stuff. Yeah. We need to take our police departments and restore them back to fighting crime and not being used as like the big mafia to steal our stuff and cage innocent people. Yeah. And I'm asking people to donate $5 to my fund, my campaign fund, instead of clean money. And also, please look out for other people that are campaigning that are really working hard to fight for the rights of our citizens and stand up for the Constitution.
Yeah, and I say normally I don't really bring my personal preferences on voting for people, because I always say, use your brain, and I still tell you that. But let me tell you for sure, so far I didn't find anybody in the other two parties that make this sense, and anybody that really changes what, it doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat, they've been doing the same agenda. When it comes down to freedom, we all screw. So as I say, open your mind, guys, and it's time really to say, you know what, after all, it's up to us. And this is the last chance we have. I really believe it. Merissa, thank you very much. Please keep me posted also how it goes with your court case, okay?
Yes, I will keep you posted on that. Hopefully the government will wise up and stop fighting against me on this. But if not, I will stand up for our First Amendment rights no matter what the cost.
All right, very good. All right, guys, don't go away. This is Luca Zanna. By the way, the final hour, I have a very sad but also inspiring interview with a friend that is dying. He has a few months left. His name is Dennis from Phoenix, Arizona. He's been an advocate for legalization or decriminalization of marijuana. As you know, I don't even smoke that plant. I don't even like it. But this is about freedom, and it's also about now, more important, of a human being who's living this planet, and maybe he has a chance. And I would like to share this chance with you. This is going to be the hour about love, the final hour. Meanwhile, ready for hour number 2 is going to be about guns training. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on United States.fm network.